say he was college age, do you believe he was from this university? And how far do you think he may have gone in this time span?
So I can't comment specifically on his face or any details such as that, as it's continuing to be a part of the investigation, and again, we'll release that shortly. However, we're doing everything we can to find him, and we're not sure how far he has gone yet, but we will do our best.
But you have a clear image of his face?
We have images of the suspect.
So, did you trace the gun's owner? That you've been able to recover, do you believe you know this person is the person that you're looking for at this point?
Again, as part of the investigation, we're not releasing any details such as that right now.
Fingerprints or DNA?
We are exhausting all of our resources to be able to collect those, but that's, again, part of the investigation.
Have you been able to trace back the owner of the gun?
Excuse me?
You said you found the weapon. Have you been able to trace back the owner of that weapon or who purchased it?
We are working on that, but again, part of the investigation that I can't release.
Agent Bowles, there's been a lot of turnover at the FBI. Do you think that's impacting the investigation?
Not at all. We've got complete and total support from everyone from the director on down, and it's been an incredible supportive environment so far.
Last week, like the one yesterday, useful though, where we announced the suspect was arrested.
All I can say is that we're working the investigation the best we have with the environment we're given. So,
Those
thank
are all
you.
the questions for right now. Thank you, everybody.
So the headline came at the end there, Dana. We have images of the suspect. That after they gave us a number of details that we were not privy to prior. So they say a number of individuals questioned, they've been released, they asked for privacy for them. At 11:52 a.m. Utah time, they tracked the suspect to that building. They later, after the shooting, tracked him jumping off the building, fleeing into a neighborhood. And they're asking neighbors in that area if they have doorbell cameras to turn over anything that may produce an image. What they didn't say is whether or not he ran there on foot or drove a car. But later they said, we do have good video of this individual. We are confident in our abilities. And with regard to that, they say they have footwear prints. So perhaps he was on foot, and also palm prints. And they asked for any video and images tipped to the website there. This is a bolt-action rifle. It is manually operated. It is extremely accurate. And according to a lot of gun experts, it has fewer moving parts, which would give the killer an opportunity to take a more accurate shot. And based on the graphic images that the world saw yesterday afternoon, that shot was a kill shot. It took one, and Charlie Kirk barely had a chance of survival.
I think it was a good idea for them to give this update this morning at the time that they did. Remember, so it's 9:27 a.m. Eastern time. It's 2 hours behind in Utah, and that's Mountain Time, 7:27 a.m. And I think if you see what they were able to do, they provided us the information that they could. And I think the reporters were asking very good questions, and the investigators are saying, we cannot answer those right now because we're in the middle of the investigation. And one of those questions was, since you recovered the weapon, have you been able to trace back the owner of that weapon? Yeah. And the investigator very clearly said, not able to talk about that right now. So that's obviously either in question or they know it. And
they will need the bullet that killed Charlie Kirk for more evidence too. Robin Dreeke, retired FBI special agent, Trey Gowdy, host of Sunday Night in America, and Trey is a prosecutor and Robin as an investigator with the FBI. Tell us what you think about what we just heard there in Orem, Utah.
Yeah, what we're hearing is a lot of good data.
To make an arrest.
I'm sorry, Robin, go ahead. You were saying?
Yeah, it's a lot of good data that we're getting out of this. And at the early onset, people were thinking this was a professional hit, and professional had a different connotation to me. I thought it was a skilled shot, but professionals don't do this. And so luckily, he's made a lot of missteps. And as indicated in his press conference, he left a data trail of evidence that they're able to zero in on him pretty quickly, I think.
What do you say? Professionals don't do this. Take that further. What do you mean?
Yeah, so professionals, if this individual was actually truly trying to just kill Charlie Kirk, this is not the way to do it, because this is in a public venue, leaving a lot of footprints on the ground, leaving a weapon in the woods, not having a clear escape plan, which people thought he did, and so that's not a professional level like at the higher levels that you're kind of thinking like in the movies. This is a skilled shot, but an unskilled individual at being an assassin.
Trey Gowdy, you listened to that press conference as well, and you've heard Robin's thoughts. As somebody who used to prosecute crimes after the investigation, what other questions would you have right now?
Yeah, I mean, I think the police did the right thing. They give no information to jeopardize the ultimate goal, which is a conviction. I mean, you have to make the arrest, but the ultimate goal is for this person to be convicted. So you got to be careful what you release. What the police essentially want is give us all the video you may have, give us any tip that you may have. I think images of the suspect are not the same as images of the face of the suspect. And prints are only good if you have someone to compare them or match them with. I think they are going to apprehend the killer, but the goal, again, Dana, is to get a conviction. It is not simply to generate a headline or have a good press conference. This ends in front of a jury or with a guilty plea. The only other thing I would add, Dana, is as painful as it is, people have to watch the video from yesterday. And while they're watching it, and they're going to want to turn their heads away, but you need to imagine this as a husband and a father and a friend, not someone politically that you may happen to disagree with. This video is so jarring to watch. The problem is it really happened. And it happened in the greatest country in the world. And so we got to have a conversation about how much of this we're willing to put up with. So watch what happened to him. He is killed in an instant. In an instant, from 200 yards. For what reason? Because you happen to disagree with his political beliefs? Mm-hmm. Make yourself watch it. And realize this is a husband and a father, not just some political person with whom you may happen to disagree.
Trey, stand by one moment. Robin, I'm going to get your reaction on two things that we just heard here. Let's play the soundbite of the suspect's movements first. Let's listen here.
We were able to track the movements of the shooter. Starting at 11:52 a.m., the subject arrived on campus, shortly away from campus. We have tracked his movements onto the campus, through the stairwells, up to the roof, across the roof to a shooting location. After the shooting, we were able to track his movements as he moved to the other side of the building, jumped off of the building, and fled off of the campus and into a neighborhood.
Okay, Robin, go ahead, take us through this now. You would assume that if you had a phone, which I'm not quite sure they did, that you would be able to do that quite easily. But it sounds to me like there were cameras that were able to track him. What do you take from it, Robin?
Yeah, I think what they did was they were able to kind of zero in right away on where the shooter came from, where the bullet came from, because they released that right away. So they're able to get cameras on him in that location because campuses have a lot of cameras. Plus, you had 3,000 people with cell phones. And so from that, they're able to backtrack the timeline to actually follow, because once they have an image of an individual, you now have a body language demeanor that he's giving off of a baseline of what you're looking for in that crowd, especially since he stood out with what he was wearing, all black. And so they're just backing up that timeline, and then they're advancing that timeline so they can track those movements. And so when they say they don't have an image of the face, they don't really need that image of the face yet because they have the body language of the individual. It's going to be very telling over time.
Okay, now you said the video. Okay, that's the next soundbite. We'll let you analyze this too. Watch here from the FBI.
Sure.
We do have good video footage of this individual. We are not going to release that at this time. We are working through some technologies and some ways to identify this individual. If we are unsuccessful, we will reach out to you as the media and we will push that publicly to help us identify them. But we are confident in our abilities right now, and we would like to move forward in a manner that keeps everyone safe and moves this process appropriately.
Hey, Rob, I'm reading between the lines here. I don't believe they've got a name. Is that accurate, do you believe?
I believe that's probably accurate right now, but I think they're going to get that pretty rapidly. There's two things here. One, you have the videos of the individual that they can backtrack and do a match on and see those egress and ingress points. That's why they're seeking more people with videos of him to see if you can track him to a car, license plate, and also start doing triangulation, which is going to take a little time of cell phone data. The other thing with the weapon that they have, the likelihood of them having DNA is very, very high. Let's just look at the Koberger case. They are able to use trace DNA to actually do a genealogy search. It takes a little bit of time, but this is with family members that didn't even put themselves into the genealogy system. And so I think they're coming at it from two angles. You're going to be coming at it from the technology of looking cell phone tracking data for this area. That's something that's going to stand out so they can rule out people that actually live in that area since you flew into the woods, possibly vehicle traffic as well as DNA traffic. And so what they're looking for is they're going to have it. They just don't have it quite yet.
Trey, we're coming up on another moment of silence at 9:37, and I wonder if you could take a moment to just talk about this moment that we are in nationally from a perspective that you always so wisely provide.
Orthodoxy, and as we've had events since then, whether it's the shooting of Abby Giffords, whether it's the shooting of Stevie Scalise, the shooting of President Trump, those periods of unity have begun to shrink. And no, I mean, it hadn't been a couple of hours since Charlie Kirk was killed before we had like a zoo-like atmosphere on the floor of the House of Representatives, which is supposed to be the people's house. So I actually think the American people are more unified than those that we send to represent us. So the representatives need to really reflect the American people. 90% of the American people would never do what happened to Charlie Kirk, would never shoot Gabby Giffords. And by the way, a child was also killed when she was shot, would never shoot at Stevie Scalise. We got to do a better job of identifying and silencing and separating that 10% from the rest of us. But look, our memories are so short, Dana. I mean, they were long after 9/11. It was weeks and months of unity. And it hadn't been 24 hours before we had begun to politicize the shooting of Charlie Kirk. Forget about the politics. That's why I want you to look at the video. This was a husband and a father and a friend that was shot through the throat because of political beliefs. I mean, surely to God, this country can do better than that.
No doubt.
Trey, thank you. Robin Dreeke, thank you so much as we prepare for this next moment of silence.